Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MDs Baseball Podcast. Today is today's Monday, June 27th, episode number 33. I'm your host, Dominic Martino, here with my brother, my co-host, Matthew Ane. Matt, how we doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. I got the dad tan going on with the little sunglass space over here.
I see you. I see
Yeah.
you.
Me and the eyes and the sun don't get along too well. How you doing?
Yeah, I hear that. Well, at least you get tan. I get all red when I go out there in the sun. So,
Facts.
yeah. But I figured let's just hit it, my brother. Let's just get into some baseball talk. It's been a week. I'll tell you that. Especially for me, my big league, as you know, I took one of my first L's this week, and in another league, I wound up beating an undefeated team. So it's been a mixed bag for me. I saw you picked up a nice win this week too.
Yeah.
Hoping all the fans out there are picking up W's. Listening to us. We got an action-packed episode today. Going to talk about a bunch of different things, especially injury replacements, because that's a big one with a lot of big names going out. But as always, we're going to start here with the finger on the pulse. And man, you know what, Matt, I had to call out one of my boys today. Some people might say I'm a little prejudiced with that, but had to go with one of my boys, Mr. Christian Javier, finally showing out in this year, breakout year, 25 years old for the kid. And man, what he did to our Yankees the other day. Woo! He went 7 strong, did not give up a hit, struck out 13, had every one of his pitches working. The command was great. And dude, I think this is the year for him. I just want to point out he's criminally under-owned on Yahoo right now, 76% owned. Guys, we got to get that up to 90. Even in those shallow leagues, he's really showing out right now, Christian Javier of the Houston Astros. Let me get you his numbers here on the year. So far, Christian Javier has pitched 62.2 innings. He's 5 wins, 3 losses, a 2.73 ERA. And he has 81 strikeouts in those 62 innings with a 105 whip. So those numbers are elite at this point. You're looking at a really low whip, a really low ERA. He's on a great team, big strikeouts. I don't see any reason that he should be under 90% owned on ESPN, Yahoo, or any other platform at the moment. Looks like the kid's finally broken out at 25 years old. Matt, what's your thoughts on him?
I mean, you know what? Kid's finally doing it. Like you said, it's I'm so glad they didn't do what he did to him last year and throw him back in the bullpen. Finally earned himself a playing spot. He's somebody we called out early in the year and said, "Hey, scoop him up." So if you were listening to us nice and early, you were very fortunate, and you're welcome. One thing I'm going to say is, you know what? I think this is real. I think this is a long time thing. I think that he's probably one of their younger aces that are going to be around for a long time. So congratulations, Javier, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, Matt, very, very well said on that one. It's about time for Mr. Christian Javier, and I think, as you said, he's earned himself a role in that starting rotation for the rest of the year with that one. Matt, let's just, next part here, just cut me off in the news here. If you hear anything that you're interested, you want to talk about. So roll right into it. Big first news, big note here is absolutely horrible for any Bryce Harper owner out there, including myself. He's headed to the IL with a fractured thumb after being hit by that 97-mile-an-hour fastball on his thumb by Blake Snell. He's going to be out. He's going to miss some significant time, guys. And we got a couple injury replacements coming up for you in the waiver wire segment, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt to miss Bryce here for a while. We got another one that's absolutely devastating. People were banking on this guy to come back and, carry them to the promised land, and that's Mr. Jack Flaherty, or as we know him on this podcast, Little Jack. He's headed to the IL with right shoulder soreness. Now, there's a lot of mixed information out there right now, but it doesn't look good. It looks really bad. It's on the same shoulder that he had the injury coming into the year with, and as my brother would say, those phalanges are looking pretty weak right now for Jack.
I got a great new nickname for him.
Uh-oh.
Jack Flaherty.
Oh my God. I love it. Why do I love it so much, Jack?
It hurts so good.
Oh, it does, man.
It does. Because you know what? It's sad too, because he had the tear on his shoulder that he's been playing with for like the last 2 years, where he's been incredible. But I guess, finally somebody said, here's a sling, because he apparently had a dead arm, and they pulled him after 3 innings. And, after he sucked it up again anyway, so thank God. And I know it's not a good sign. What I read on Twitter today was that his first opinion said he's going to need surgery. They're going for another one, which they're hoping for a more optimistic output. But pretty much what I'm taking this as is he's done for the year. So he's a
Yeah,
straight drop. The second I saw he hit that 15-day IL and, they were moving forward, I'm like, drop. So that's a drop
yeah.
ski times 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I saw very similar information as you, Matt. I even saw torn labrum, which is you don't want to see that at all. And
Mm-mm.
in my opinion, with Jack Flaherty, he didn't look right coming back either. So I think maybe between the team and himself, they rushed it to get him back out there to get that production that we know he's capable of. A healthy Jack Flaherty is a top 20 starting pitcher in the league easily, and it's tough to see him miss this time. We just here at the Fantasy MDs, we hope Jack Flaherty gets better soon and he returns back to form next year or the year after whenever he's ready to do so.
Good
But to
luck, Jack
close,
Flanges.
Jack Flanges. We'll keep it rolling here, though. We got Ronald Acuna day to day again, but this one's not really his fault. He fouled the ball off his foot. X-rays came back clean. Just probably gonna miss a couple days here. Jonathan India's day to day after getting hit on the hand. X-rays did come back clean though, so he's probably only gonna miss a couple days there as well. And some better news, Chris Bryant was activated today off the IL from that back strain. He's hitting third in the lineup today. He said that he feels a lot better this time coming off the IL than he did last time, just so make sure you have him back in all your lineups. Wanda Franco was activated off the IL yesterday from that quad injury. Make sure he's back in all your lineups as well. Mookie Betts has not been cleared for baseball activities yet with that rib injury. Manager of the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, came out and said that he could be back around the All-Star break. But, we shall see. Mookie Betts having a big year there for the Dodgers. So, hopefully he can get back out there to help the Dodgers and fantasy owners as well. Chris Sale, man, he's actually looking pretty good. I heard he was hitting 96 in that last rehab start. He looked absolutely great. He's going to do another rehab start Thursday. He's working his way back from that rib injury. I know Matt and I have kind of differing opinions on this guy, but my opinion is still go out there and buy low if you can, because I just think that he has some Justin Verlander in them, and he's going to come back and he's going to pitch well for that Boston Red Sox team.
Who would you let go for him? Who would you trade for him?
Okay. You know what? Great question, my brother. Let me just pull up my team here real quick because I have it right here, and I'll tell you who I would throw out. If I had, once again, guys, I love that, Matt. I love that you want me to throw out a name because you know what? I like hearing that. I'm sure everybody loves hearing, what they should be throwing out there. I'll tell you this: if I could trade Lucas Giolito and maybe get Chris Sale and like a closer or something like that, because I still think Giolito, that name will get that done. I think you could do Giolito for Sale straight up right now, to be honest, unless the Chris Sale owner is savvy enough, or like just I don't really know how to put it, but I think that's a fair trade at the moment. Maybe you have to throw in a little something else, maybe the other person has to throw in a little something else, but I'd be trying to do something like that. Or maybe it's like who else we got here, even like maybe like a Chris Bassett, a guy who's kind of like underperforming right now, and if you could get a healthy Chris Sale, in my opinion, he's a top 15 starting pitcher when he's healthy.
All right, yeah, that's a fair point.
All right, my brother. So keep it rocking here. Next we got Michael Brantley. He left yesterday's game with shoulder discomfort. He's day to day for now. Michael Brantley's getting old, guys. So just be careful. Just be very, very careful with him, going forward. In shallower leagues, he's probably a drop if you got a hot name out there on the waiver wire that you can pick up. Better news for the Astros. Jeremy Pena came off the IL yesterday from that thumb sprain. Make sure you get him active in all your lineups. Then we got Brandon Woodruff. He's actually going to start tomorrow, making his way back from that Raynaud's syndrome. And he actually was destroying it down in the minor league. So make sure he is active in your lineups, guys. Then we have Tanner Hauck was placed on the restricted list. He will be out for the Toronto series for the Boston Red Sox. So if you see somebody pick up a couple saves there in that Toronto series for Boston, don't get too worried, because, Tanner Hauck still has that job locked down. For the New York Yankees, we got Gleyber Torres' day-to-day with an ankle injury. He is not in the lineup today, so just keep your eyes on him. Harrison Bader, big steals guy this year, so I guess that caused a little plantar fascia. He's headed to the IL as well. My boy, Yeah, those phalanges, right? Those Cardinals, man. I don't know what those Cardinals trainers are doing out there, but they gotta get a hold of this one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my boy Jazz Chisholm, day to day with back spasms. Supposedly it's not too serious, but I would keep an eye on that because his phalanges are a little questionable as well. All right, then we got a little transition here. Carlos Santana has been traded to Seattle for 2 prospects, and I want that to lead us right into the waiver wire, and that opens up a spot at first base for Kansas City. And #1 prospect of Vinny Pasquantino gets the call, guys. This is another, pause the podcast moment. Check if he's available in your leagues. If he is, and you got the room, he's an instant ad. He was destroying it down in the minors. He had 18 home runs. He was hitting, what was he hitting? He was hitting 280, 18 home runs, 67 RBIs across 296 plate appearances in 69 games. He's got a lot of power in that bat. Very reminiscent of a Nolan Gorman type of guy. As you guys have seen this year, a lot of hitting prospects have not really panned out the way we've expected. But Vinny Pasquantino is definitely worth a speculative ad. He's already up to 20% owned on Yahoo at the time of recording this, so that number is just going to keep going up. If you need a power hitting first baseman that's going to be in a good lineup, definitely make sure you give Vinny Pasquantino a shot.
Yeah, he's definitely an intriguing. They're going to be a very good team over the next decade because
Yes, sir.
everybody's young, everybody is ready to rock, and God, the Royals are going to win a World Series soon.
Bobby Witt's getting hot too, by the way. In
I
case
know.
anybody was wondering.
Oh, I know. He's looking fantastic.
Yes, yes. So, Matt, any other thoughts here on Mr. Pasquantino?
He's a scoop. He's a scoop up, and set it, forget it type moment. But let's move on to
Yeah.
my boy Jaron Dillaran. We've been talking about him for
Yes, we're getting it right this time, guys. We
Yeah,
apologize about last time, but he's here to stay. He's here to
yeah.
stay.
So you guys kind of know my point about what he is. He was actually just sent down now, but it's not. It's
No,
not.
he wasn't sent down. He's not going to play in the
Oh,
Toronto series
exactly.
because
I
he's not
apologize.
vaxxed either. Him and Tanner Hauck are not vaxxed, so they're not going to play in the Toronto series. But don't worry about either one of them.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Two the words right out of my mouth. So I thought I saw something wrong. My bad. So,
I saw that too, and I was worried too.
I was like, really, I'm about to bring him up as I'm looking at it. But anyway, so he's actually really killing it. I'm really impressed with him. He doesn't feel like getting vaccinated. It's not a big deal. Good for him.
Yeah. No biggie.
But right now he's killing it. So shoot, last week 5 runs, no bombs, 3 ribbies, 4 stolen bases, 4 batting 385.
Yeah.
That's bananas. Let's go. Yes, that's what I want to see. And he's on the year right now. He's hitting 327. So I'm going to tell you right now, he's somebody. You don't have to add him today, but because he's not going to play till about Thursday. But anybody's in your league that's listening, that listens with you, you might want to beat him to the punch.
Yeah, if you're in a competitive league, he's a guy that you're going to want to add as soon as possible. Yes, he's going to miss the next couple of games, but if you're in a deeper league where he's available, he is only 23% owned on Yahoo right now. I would find the room for the kid. He's a big steals threat. He had 11 steals this year in 43 games in the minors where he hit 305. 28 RBIs. He had 34 runs, 6 bombs. So he's not really too much of a power threat, but the steals and batting average, and he's hitting leadoff. Boston's letting him hit leadoff, guys. So, with the 327 batting average in the bigs, the runs are going to be there. The steals are going to be there. You definitely got to go add Jaron Dillaran, guys. Make sure he's owned. And like Matt said, if you're not in a super competitive league and you could leave him out there for the next couple of days where he misses the games, okay. But don't be surprised if somebody goes out there and picks him up because, he is definitely going to be a great player in the major leagues. And he's really impressing me so far in his rookie year. So let's move on. We'll go from, somebody that's a little bit known, somebody a little bit less known than Mr. Duran. And this is Isaac Paredes of the Pirates. Now, he's interesting. He's had a couple of good games here, over the past couple of days. I'm trying to pull up his stats here if I could spell the guy's name correctly.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Jeez, I'm doing a horrible job, but I do know how to fix this problem, guys. He had a three home run game the other day. He's been looking pretty good so far in the big leagues.
I got it.
Thank you, brother. Please save me.
So, over the last 2 weeks, he's actually no, last week. So last week he clearly finished as the number one player. So he had 6 runs, 5 bombs, 9 ribbies, batting .579 on the week.
Yeah,
that's some serious stuff.
He's eligible at second and third on Yahoo. He's only 35% owned. As Matt stated, he's been going off the past week. His numbers on the year don't look great. It's a .255 batting average, 10 home runs, 21 RBIs. But if you really need a second or third baseman right now, Isaac Paredes is definitely an option. I'm seeing him picked up in a lot of my leagues. People are giving him the shot, as the Pirates are. I'm trying to see if I could find his minor league numbers, which I have here. Let's see. He actually was doing all right down there in the minors. It seems like, he's a little bit of a power guy, actually. 25 games in the minors this year, 4 bombs, 18 RBIs, .263 batting average, just a decent guy, a decent guy. And if he keeps it up, you keep him on your team. If he doesn't, you drop him. That's what Isaac Paredes is right now. But once again, 35% owned on Yahoo, second and third eligible. Go out there and pick him up if you need him. So last guy that we're going to talk about here, and the bats, is another little speed guy, and we've spoke about him before. And then he is a strictly steals guy. That's Jorge Mateo of the Baltimore Orioles. Him and Julio Rodriguez keep going back and forth for league leader in steals. But that's what this guy does. I wouldn't really expect anything more than some steals and a couple of runs there. Jorge Mateo is second shortstop, outfield eligible on Yahoo, so you could fit him in your lineup in a bunch of different spots. He's 24% owned on Yahoo. So once again, you need someone that's going to steal you some bases, you go pick up Jorge Mateo.
Yes, sir. Mateo looks good this year. I'm all about it, but I got really nothing to say about this.
I'm just a steals guy.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next thing. We're going to come out of our bats and talk about some arms. And somebody I'm pretty mad that Dom beat me to the punch this morning, and that's Keegan Thompson.
Had to. I knew if I didn't do it, you were going to do it, so I had to pick him up.
I was out of moves, and I just didn't. I was in a fog this morning. Too many of these last week.
I hear that.
But Keegan's looking great over the last 2 weeks. His last 2 starts have been actually phenomenal. Last start was, got the W, 7 Ks, 1.50 ERA with a .83 WHIP, and over 2 weeks, only 1 win, but 16 Ks, a .75 WHIP, and a .75 WHIP. I'm sorry, 0.7. Oh, there's him, ERA and WHIP. He's just killing it. And to be honest, I think there's more to come. He was a good young prospect, definitely worth an ad, and probably going to kill it for you this year. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah, well, I Matt, you get all the credit in the world on Keegan Thompson here, because actually you put me on to him this year. I'm going to be honest with you. Matt had picked him up earlier in the year, and we spoke about him on, this is, I think, the 3rd time he's getting brought up here on the Fantasy MD. So I'm a little disappointed that he's only 45% owned, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Matt read off his numbers. And then, the second time we talked about him was maybe only a couple of weeks ago, and he has the good track record in the minors, right? Now, I pointed it out before. I'll do it again today. In 2017, 2.37 ERA. 2018, 3.61 ERA. 2019, 3.60 ERA. 2021, even last year for the Cubs, he had a 3.38 ERA. So I'm just expecting a low to mid threes ERA. He could strike guys out. The strikeouts have been picking up recently. In his last 2 outings, he had 7 strikeouts against Pittsburgh on the 22nd, and then he had 9 strikeouts against Atlanta on the June 17th. I think he has a lot of upside, guys. Even he has 7 wins, 2 losses on a Cubs team that isn't great. Once again, Keegan Thompson, guys. You need to go out there and snag him right now if you need a starting pitcher, because you know what? Starting pitchers are getting thinner and thinner and thinner as the weeks go on. And as Matt said, he's a guy you can look back at the end of the year and be like, damn, Keegan Thompson really helped me, make the playoffs and make that push going forward, right? So now let's go from him to somebody that is a little bit more of a stash, but he's coming back soon, and he's been really good this year. That's Mr. Garrett Whitlock, right? Now, the thing with him is, man, is he's been really impressive. He started off the year, they were giving him some opportunities for saves. He looked great in the bullpen, so they said, you know what, we're gonna transition him into a starter, and then he was rocking and rolling as a starter before he got hurt, right? So for Mr. Garrett Whitlock on the year, he's pitched 48 innings. He's got 49 strikeouts. He threw in a save. He's got 2 wins. He's got a 3.51 ERA, and he's got a 1.13 WHIP, right? So as I said, right now he is on the IL, and they pushed him back. He was actually supposed to start I think he was supposed to start Wednesday against the Blue Jays, but guess what? It looks like they're pushing him back to get a little softer matchup against the Cubs this weekend, right? So I would go out there and do a sneaky speculative ad on him, and just see what happens. And you know what? If he gets a setback or something like that, it's an easy drop. But if he doesn't and he comes back this weekend against the Cubs, I think you got yourself somebody that could be pretty useful there with Garrett Whitlock. Once again, only 55% owned on Yahoo, so he's out there in some leagues. You could snag him.
Oh yeah, Garrett is definitely worth the speculative ad. I mean, Cubs are a nice soft matchup, like you said. And personally, I think the kid's got a nice little talent on behind him. So, let's see what he can do for at least possibly get you the W and some Ks this weekend and not hurt your ERA, because Cubs can't hit nothing these days. So, I'm pretty excited for that. At least a little stream for the week. But
yeah, he had a big year last year too. Now that I'm even looking at it, I didn't even realize it, but he had a 1.96 ERA last year in 73 innings, 81 strikeouts, and a 1.10 WHIP for Garrett Whitlock last year. So he's impressive young pitcher.
Oh yeah. So we got. I'm going to move on here to Mr. Jon Gray, who if you're.
Matt, were the people listening to us or what? We called this one a few weeks ago, my brother.
Apparently not. It's still 51% owned. Just to put it in perspective, everybody, since we said to pick him up the week of June 12th for that start against the White Sox.
We did.
So he had 10 Ks in that start and a 1.50 ERA with a 1 WHIP. Then he went on to play Detroit, and he got the W, and he had 6 Ks, no earned runs, and a 0.71 WHIP. And then his last start against the Phillies, got the W, got 5 Ks, 3.18 ERA, and a 0.88 WHIP. That's a waiver wire pickup.
He's been fantastic.
Fantastic. Finally, unleash the beast. This is what I was hoping for when I ranked him in my top 60 this year. That he was probably going to break free from the Colorado Rockies' horrendous stadium and get a real shot at actually being a good pitcher and showing him what he's got. So he's going up with Kansas City, a little bit more on the difficult side of a matchup because they are really good and they are hot right now, especially Mr. Bobby Witt.
Yeah, him and Pasquantino, that's going to be tough, man. With Merrifield, that's a good lineup.
But, I mean, he handled the Phils, and Phil's got a good bats. He handles the Chicago White Sox, another, good bats. And, it looks like Javier Baez is somewhat turning it on over there and handled Detroit. So
don't tell me about it. I dropped him.
It's fine. I would have dropped him too. He's been putrid. And I'm not a Baez fan anyway, but it is what it is. But he's doing what you need him to do. Scoop him up now before somebody else picks him up. He's available in 49% of the leagues right now. Let's bring that to 60, 70.
Easy for Jon Gray,
Here's your replacement for Jack Flaherty that you've been holding all year miserably, or Jack Flanges as I call him now.
Yes, yeah, man. I'm fully agreeing with you on Jon Gray. It's just like, wow. I think it took him a little bit to figure it out. As Matt and I always like to say, first year on a new team, there's a lot of things that go into that, relocating your family, figuring out all the new spots to eat, getting your kids into a new school. There's just a lot that goes on with that, making sure the wife is happy, right? It's just a lot that goes into that, so now Jon Gray, transitioning to the Texas Rangers, it looks like he's getting comfortable. As my boy Matt said, and I forgot who you said this about it, but I loved it. Maybe he found a new barbecue spot or something like that he likes, and he's just feeling good about life, and he's happy, and he's ready and rocking. Even before that White Sox start, he did have a little stanker against Cleveland, but before that, it was 12 strikeouts in 7 innings against Tampa Bay, only 1 run, 0.71 WHIP, right? Even the numbers on the year are starting to look a little bit better, right? It's a 4.18 ERA, which is a little bit high, but I love everything else. 64 innings, 68 strikeouts, a 118 whip, right? I think these numbers are only going to go down. And in the second half, I think he's just going to be that guy, right? 51%, more like 80%. Come on. Like he's just so good. I'm mad that I didn't get him in my big money league, but I was able to sneak him in one of my other leagues. So it makes me a little bit more happy about it. Just go pick up Jon Gray, guys. There's no reason he should be this lowly owned. You know, he did great things in Colorado, and it's so hard to pitch in Colorado, especially that 2019. He had a 3.84 ERA, 150 innings, 150 strikeouts. The whip was a little bit high, but that's Coors Field for you. That's Coors Field coming in there. Some of those balls going out of the park that wouldn't in other spots. I think Jon Gray's really figured it out. I'm just raving and ranting about him at this point. Guys, pick him up so I don't have to do this every week, right? So we got one more guy left, and it's a little sneaky ad too. He's pitching tomorrow. He's been pretty good so far. That's Mr. Josh Winder or Winder. Once again, I'm not really sure how he's pronouncing that, but
we're gonna call him Josh. Make me wander.
Yeah, right. Josh making me wander over here. I seen him getting picked up in a couple of leagues too. Again, it's his rookie year. He's 25 years old, right? And on the year, he's 2 wins, 2 losses, 3.68 ERA. 29 innings, 23 Ks, and a 1.22 whip. But it's a little unfair to the kid. He got hurt, I think, in that last start, gave up a couple runs that he probably shouldn't have, right? I think he bounces back. Minnesota Twins are all right, not a bad team. But, the kid's got some upside. He has a pretty good minor league track record. In 2019, 2.65 ERA, 125 innings, 118 strikeouts, 0.97 whip. So he's more of a control guy, right? The strikeouts might not be too crazy with him, but I think he's going to be able to suppress some runs. I think the whip is going to be a little bit low. He does get the Cleveland Indians tomorrow. So it's a little bit tougher of a matchup. They've been really hot lately, but it's a speculative ad. In deeper leagues, you definitely should go out there and give him the chance. Let's see where he's owned on Yahoo at the moment. He is 6% owned on Yahoo, guys. So that's everywhere. That's pretty much, if you're listening to the podcast, he's probably available in your league. So he's worth the shot. Maybe Jon Gray's not there. Maybe Keegan Thompson's not there. Maybe Garrett Whitlock's not there, right? So you go out there and you give Josh, you give him your little wander, maybe he's going to wander a couple of wins out of there, just definitely somebody that's, you should give him a shot if these other guys that we mentioned are taken already.
Yes, sir. I got nothing bad to say about him. I think you're 100% right. I think we move into the closers, and we start this right here. I'm going to start with a guy I've been talking a whole bunch of doo-doo on.
I love it. Oh, that's the haterade. There's the haterade.
Okay. So he is not your future closer, but he is right now. So this is why we're talking about him. He has had the saves attempts. I think he's had 2 over the last week. I apologize.
He got 2. He picked up 2 last week.
And he hasn't blown it up. Hasn't killed your ERA, hasn't killed your whip. So I'm going to say, hey, pick him up. If for any which possible reason we hear that, Hand is finally going to take over the job, it's probably just because they're familiar with Dominguez. Second Dominguez starts getting blown up is the second he's out. He does not have a long leash, because he has done this in the past. So one mess up and you're already going to start hearing talks. 2 mess ups, see you later. So if I were you, I'd have him on the watch list, Mr. Hand, because he's going to come in right behind him and then keep the job probably until either Knebel figures it out or until Hand messes himself up. So.
Damn, man. Well, see, I don't know, my brother. See, we've been disagreeing on this one, and I think we're still going to disagree again, because you know what? I think he's the guy. I think they're going to let him run away with it, and I think he's figured something out. He, as Matt points out, he had the really, really bad 2019, right? But that's about it. He had a good 2018. In 2018, Sir Anthony Dominguez had a 2.95 ERA, 53 games, 16 saves, 58 innings, 74 strikeouts, and an 0.93 whip. That was back in 2018. He didn't really pitch in 2021. I believe he was banged up. But then again, this year for Sir Anthony Dominguez, he's just killing it. He's got 4 wins, 1 loss, a 1.63 ERA, 29 games, the 2 saves that we mentioned last week, after he took over the job from Knebel, 27.2 innings, 35 Ks, and a 0.83 whip. I mean, he just looks lights out. I would not leave him sitting around on the waiver wire, especially if you need a closer. He's only 47% owned. In my opinion, we got to get that up to like 60, because guys, just saves are tough tough to come by, and especially on a team like the Phillies that they're going to be in a lot of close games, especially without Harper. And I think the leash is a little bit longer than Matt does, but once again, we're going to agree to disagree on this guy. Kind of feel it out on your own, guys. And if if you like what I'm saying, you follow me. If you like what Matt's saying, you follow him. Once again, Sir Anthony Dominguez, he has the job now, so I mean, he's at least worth a shot if you need the saves at the moment. All right, so let's transition into another guy here, another closer. See, this one is a little bit more difficult. These are two guys that have been, getting saves here in Minnesota, but Johan Duran gets the save here, and I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago. So they're kind of going back and forth, but I like Duran's stuff. And it looks like we went Duran today. So if anyone has Johan Duran and Jaron Dillaran, you got to name the team Duran. Come on, that's just common sense, right? But
Exactly.
for Mr.
Great
Johan,
boxer.
So for Mr. Johan Duran on the year, he's got a 2.18 ERA, which is great. 26 games, 5 saves, 33 innings, 46 strikeouts, and a 0.81 whip. And he looks legit. 24 years old. If you're in like a long-term dynasty league and he happens to be out there by some crazy chance, I think you have to snag him at this point in all of those types of leagues, because I believe he's the future closer of the Minnesota Twins. 47% owned on Yahoo. Just go out there and scoop up Duran again if you need some saves. If Sir Anthony's not out there, I mean, the thing is, Emilio Pagan does get some saves for the Twins as well, but I think Duran is really just going to run away with it at some point. That's just my opinion.
I mean, you're not wrong. The only thing that's a deterrent and probably why he's still so low owned is because of the timeshare over there.
Yeah, with Pagan. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I'm all about it. He is the better arm in my opinion.
Yeah, 24 years old too. Pagan's getting old.
Exactly. So maybe Pagan starts, getting tired and that old man, phalanges kick in, and then then it's Duran's show. But here's somebody I actually think is worth something, and that's Trevino, Lou Trevino, who the Oakland Athletics 20% owned. Seems to have been handed the job for now due to injury. He actually had a fantastic season last year in 2021. He had 7 W's, funny enough, which is a lot for a closer. 22 saves, which is fantastic. He had 33 Ks. Oh, no, I apologize. 67 Ks, read this year's stats. And 3.18 ERA, which is a little high for a closer, but at the same time, it is what it is, because I'll take the 7 W's and the and the 22 saves, and then a 1.25 whip, again a little high, but he isn't killing you. And personally, I think that he's the guy that's probably going to have the job for the solidified until injury kind of muddles that up. But I don't think he's going to lose it if he keeps producing the way he is. He got 2 saves last week with 5 Ks and a 1.91 whip, which kind of sucks. But you know what? 2 saves, I'll take it.
Yeah, Matt. I'll say this. I mean, I personally, I'm gonna put Trevino under, probably Sir Anthony and Duran, in my opinion, just because the Oakland team isn't very good, and Mr. Trevino has been kind of shaky this year himself. But that's not to say he couldn't return to form from last year, as you stated, with those 22 saves and the 3.18 ERA, almost a strikeout per, which is pretty good. But once again, I don't really trust the Oakland team. He's more of a kind of like a desperation play. 20% owned on Yahoo, so he is out there in a few leagues. So if you need him, he's out there to go and snag him. So we'll wrap this up with our last guy here. And guys, we've been trying to nail down who's closing for Tampa for, like, I'd say the last month on this podcast. I think we've thrown out almost every guy on that team, but it looks like it's Brooks Raley's turn. He's 7% owned on Yahoo. He's got the last save here for Tampa. He's actually been very, very good on the year. Big strikeout guy. He's got 22 innings, 30 strikeouts, 4 saves, 2.42 ERA, and a 0.99 whip. With JP House of Fire Nyson out, and Mr. Andrew Kittredge with the Tommy John. It looks like he might step up here and run away with the job. So he's really, really speculative. He's probably on the bottom of the list of closers right now. So if you're really desperate, I say he's the guy. But on that note, guys, we're gonna wrap things up here for today on the Fantasy MDs. As always, if you like what you hear, if you like the Fantasy MDs, if we've helped you at all this year, we just ask a very small favor on Apple and Spotify. If you could just write a little something for us, it helps a long way. Give us a 5-star review, goes a long way. If you're not already watching, and subscribe it on YouTube, if you could do that, would truly help us. We appreciate it. And guys, feel free, once again, DM us with any questions. We're always here for you guys. That's why we do this. We're here to help the community out in any way that we can. And we just appreciate you guys, tuning in. It really means a lot. So until next time.
Peace.
See ya.